What is up, everybody? Hello and welcome back to the channel. On today's video we are going to be talking about Loqueesha, the brand new much talked about movie that is coming in 2019. I think this is probably number one for most people's hype list. Shout out to Brad Jones and Double Toasted for putting this film on my radar. I wanted to do a trailer reaction and then talk a little bit about the hysteria and the subject matter that is following this movie. So kick back, relax, and hopefully you enjoy my take on Loqueesha. That's probably the only time I'm going to say that. Well, except for when I do a review of this movie, but other than that, that's probably the only time I'm going to say the words Loqueesha. Oh boy. Here we go.
You always seem to say the right thing to just the right person. What's your secret?
I'm really just talking to myself. I don't charge for my advice.
Well, you should, because it was amazing. I saw this, and I thought of you. You will be a hit in no time.
Welcome to the Joe Show. I submitted myself to a radio station for my own show.
Well, congratulations.
They rejected me.
Well, congratulations.
You weren't right for your own show?
Jason's gifted. You need to get the money for this school.
13,000 a semester? Asking me is their own show. If I was a black woman, I'd be perfect.
She's brilliant.
I know.
Get her in here.
Loqueesha gonna be the biggest thing in radio, but I still need my anonymity.
Nervous? Very. It's not a
Oh
crime.
my gosh.
It's theater.
You live with Loqueesha. What's your problem?
Hi, Loqueesha. It's free.
Oh, I ain't talking to you, not the way you sound. Next caller.
You go, girl.
You just be good to her. If you good to yourself, you can be good to others. But don't be too good, because the police...
How does the voice sound like a black woman in any kind of way?
I got another job.
Doing what?
Consulting work.
What the hell would you know about being a white guy anyway?
I know quite a bit.
Loqueesha is a real role model for every African-American woman on this planet.
Like the whole city has a Loqueesha mania.
I am Loqueesha, officer.
What was that?
I think I might be a black woman trapped in a white man's body.
You need to talk to Loqueesha. Just because she's a woman and a black person doesn't mean that she doesn't understand you.
Is this really happening?
I'm on a bridge above the river, and I'm gonna jump.
But thanks for calling. Enjoy your jump.
I gotta start listening to her.
Oh my gosh. Oh God. Oh man. Oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. All right, transition right now. Now you're gonna have to forgive me for a quick second of laughing throughout that trailer. I wasn't laughing because of the actual comedy in the trailer presented. I'm laughing more so at the idea of the movie. To think that that is like fantastic in any kind of way. It's just the film just has my brain scrambled right now. Like, I can't even make sense about this movie. Oh man, I think this movie is gonna do fantastic on DVD. Not in the theaters, but in DVD. Oh man. I'm just gonna talk a little bit about the page. If you go to Loqueesha's, Loqueeshamovie.com, let's just read this real quick. Loqueesha is the hilarious and heartwarming story of Joe, an astute and underachieving Detroit band bartender who values the truth above everything. Wow. With a diverse cast of breakthrough actors. Keyword, with a diverse cast of breakthrough actors. If that doesn't read, you know, like an amateur movie that was shot for probably like less than, I don't know, like $1,000, But yeah, forget all the movies. Forget Chucky, forget The Conjuring, forget Annabelle, forget It Chapter 2, forget Godzilla. This movie is probably on my hype list. This has got to be number one, if not number two, of like one of the most movies I am looking forward to watching this year. This has to be the greatest train wreck I've seen in so long. It only took 14 days, production days, to do this movie. 14 days. I've never made a movie, but I'm pretty sure a full-length feature film would take longer than 14 days to film. I don't care if you have an endless budget and you have a shooting location locked for 2 weeks. There's no way you're going to finish a movie in 14 days unless it is a piece of... Let's move over to the IMDb trivia section, which is just hilarious. As I don't know who made these up. I don't know if it was the director who, if you didn't already know, the main guy who's doing Loqueesha's voice, he is also the writer, director, and the main actor in this movie. Let's see. Takes place in a world where people are excited about a talk radio show. I mean, people are excited about like the Breakfast Club, so I don't see why that would be any difference. And Howard Stern, obviously millions of people listen to that, so here we go. In order to better understand what it's like to be a black woman, Jeremy, who's the main character, the main actor I should say, paid himself less money than the rest of the people who worked on the film. I don't know if he actually wrote that himself, if that is true. I mean, there's so much wrong with that quote. I'm not even going to dive into that one. This is a big one too. In the start of the trailer, I don't know if you saw that, it said the San Luis Obispo International Film Festival selected the film. And reading this, it was actually not accepted. They actually sent out a tweet saying, like, we have nothing to do with this movie. We did not accept this movie into our film festival. It was not selected. We're trying to remove that from the actual trailer. So they already kind of tricked people with that, of using that. So, yeah, I guess they thought it was a small film festival that, it was just going to sneak by people. Nope. Let's see. The filmmakers could not afford the rights to Coolio's Gangster Paradise for the trailer. I don't know if that would have made it better or worse in any kind of way. Why would you want to have Gangster's Paradise? I don't know. There's a big uproar, if you didn't already know, about this film coming across your radar. A lot of people are highly upset with this movie, and for particular good reason. But I think we have to look beyond this movie. And obviously this movie, in a funny, weird way, is getting people riled up. But I think there's a bigger hidden sort of message that is beyond this movie itself. And yeah, let's get to that. Now it's time to be a bit serious about the subject matter of this movie. While it is a comedy, and it's, trust me, outlandish and crazy that on IMDb, if you look at Loqueesha, it is listed as comedy and horror for some odd reason. So I guess that would make it fit for this channel. But to seriously talk about something that is relating to what we talked about in this channel before, and it was about being a black horror fan and how that experience and what that has gone through, of sort of feeling like you're on the outskirts of the horror community. It's very telling and relating to the subject matter of this movie. Now, while this movie is trending, and not for the particular good reason, it's trending because of the subject matter. It's a white male portraying a black female. And this is obviously a very touchy subject matter, and it is obviously something that is pushing people to their limits. But I have to take a step back and look at something that I think has elongated in history of black cinema. And it's the problem of the emasculating the black male. And I'm looking at an article that says 15 actors who wore a dress for success. And I think this is sort of stems off from this idea of Loqueesha and about, you know, he's portraying a black female and, you know, how wrong that is. But then we look at the list, and back in 2004, there was a movie with the Marlon Wayne brothers called White Chick, or White Chicks, I believe it's called. That movie itself is, I mean, is doing the exact same thing that this film is doing, and just pretty much worse. Loqueesha, he's only doing a voice. In White Chicks, they were actually putting on makeup and pretending to be white females throughout this entire film undercover. I didn't really see a big backlash for that film, and yet it made money, and yet people thought it was quite hilarious. I didn't quite think it was hilarious. I still think the movie itself is just horrible, but the premise itself is also horrible. But then if you look at this list, I think this is a long-standing problem amongst black leads in the industry. And yet somehow in their career, to reach a certain success or to even go beyond, they have to do a role where they dress up as a female. I mean, you can look at Martin Lawrence, Chris Tucker, Wesley Snipes was in one, Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall. And not to say this is not, you know, something that goes along with any other kind of race in film, but it just seems to be something that is very consistent in the black cinema. Eddie Murphy obviously did it for Nutty Professor and Norbit of all movies. Oh God, oh Norbit. But Dave Chappelle had something to say about this, and I'm gonna roll that clip and for you guys to watch.
But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened to me. So I walk in a trailer, I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. So the writer comes in, I think he's the writer, he's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail, so he disguises you as a prostitute. Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. He leaves, and then like the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress.
Now, while Loqueesha is obviously a state of shock for most people, and it is putting people obviously, you know, with their pitchforks, and they're just condemning this movie, and rightfully so. But you have to ask yourself, at the end of the day, what is a bigger problem? Loqueesha the film, or the way black actors are treated in cinema as a whole? And related back to a lot of what we talk about in this channel is horror films. I can't tell you the last horror film I've seen with a black lead. That was in theaters. Can't think of one. I mean, Thriller was the last one, and that was an all-black cast, but then that got picked up and it went straight to Netflix. But I can't think of any horror movie that has been in theaters in the last, I don't know, couple years that had a black as the lead. And I think that's an overarching problem as well. Not to say that we have to jam every single horror movie to have a black lead in it, but it would be nice to see some variation in the diversity of cinema out there. But that is just my take. I'm excited to see Loqueesha just because I know it's going to be a train wreck. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? I know this is a hot button issue, so leave your comments down below. As well, leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments, your subscriptions, your likes, and no matter what you got to say in the comment section, thank you, and hopefully you have a good day. Peace out.
The new sound of the 80s. Suddenly you hear it everywhere.